Welcome to Collector Guys. This small outpost is manned by American Dime Store toy soldiers. American Dime Stores have a unique place in the history of toys and Americana. We recently discovered a huge collection of American Dime Store figures, and we just had to check it out.
This is the Charles Polk Player Dime Store Soldier Collection. When he passed away, Mr. Player left this collection to the Texas Military Forces Museum. It comprises about 663 total pieces. It was cataloged when it first came to the museum in 2003 using Richard O'Brien's book on collecting American toy soldiers. At that time, they decided that there were 315 Barclay 48 gray iron and 138 Manoil figures. Those are the three main manufacturers of these type of dime store soldiers. There are also 90 accessories, including 35 vehicles. Most of those are Marks vehicles. A number of them are unknown vehicles. They could not at the time in 2003 determine who the manufacturer was. These were originally sold in the 1930s to begin with, some as early as the 1920s, but they were sold in dime stores. Soldiers themselves cost about a nickel. Some of the tanks might cost up to $1. So they're all cast and they're hollow cast. So what they did is they took iron and antimony mostly, and they melted that down. They would pour it into a mold. When the mold had set a little bit, they would pour the metal back out. This would leave a coating of the iron and the lead and the antimony inside, which would then form the basis of the figure. The figure would then be painted in whatever it needed to be painted. Some of these are actually, 26 of them are actually post-World War II. In the 1980s, there was a big resurgence for these dime store soldiers, and so they are not hollow cast. So they are solid lead, so they have a heavier weight to them, and so that's one of the ways that you can tell them more modern, besides the obvious that they look nicer and not beat up. That weight is what tells you that some of these are more recent. The production of these actually had to stop in 1942 because the War Production Board regulated the metal. You can no longer make metal toys. And so at that point, all metal toys were stopped made. Metal bicycles, metal anything could no longer be made. Right, one of the things when I do tours that I talk about with the kids that makes this interesting is that, and what put these people out of business is toy soldiers today are plastic. They are generic. If you go and look at the toy soldiers that we sell, you cannot tell anything about them. You cannot tell what their uniforms are, you can't tell what their weapons are, there's no detail. It's a plastic piece. And on these, they are exactly as they would have been. The helmets are, for the most part, the Brody helmet, the World War I Doughboy helmet. One of the things that is unusual about these is when these were produced, they were tin silver helmets. Mr. Player, his father had been in the Texas National Guard, and so he knew that helmets are not silver. And so most of these have been repainted. They have been repainted khaki, which destroys their collector's value, but for him, he was not interested. We believe that one of the reasons that Mr. Player began this collection is his father was killed in 1935 in a car accident when he was only 10 years old. And so that the collecting of these was a way to honor and remember his father, and so that's why he began collecting these in the 1930s when they were still new, and then he continued collecting them through his whole life when then he's now having to go to auctions or thrift stores or antique stores and try and find them.
That's a great collection. If you find yourself near Austin, check out the Texas Military Forces Museum. Thanks for watching Collector Guys. If you want to see more awesome videos about collecting, hit that subscribe button. Thanks, and good luck collecting.